Star Trek admits it. The Enterprise wouldn't have survived without Spock, and here's the reason why Star Trek finally explained why the Enterprise would not have survived without Mr. Spock. The Enterprise's science officer, Spock, was crucial to many of the ship's victories. Spock's formidable intellect was front and center in many of these triumphs, to the point it gave the Enterprise a serious advantage over its Starfleet brethren. And this gets a call-out in Star Trek Lower Decks -1. Star Trek Lower Decks -1 is written by Ryan North and drawn by Derek Charm. The Cerritos finds an older, derelict Starfleet vessel, the Bonaventure. The crew learns the truth. The Enterprise, under the command of Captain Kirk, found the Bonaventure trapped in the Delta Triangle. The Enterprise subsequently escaped, thanks to a formula Spock designed and implemented. The Bonaventure's crew tried to duplicate the Enterprise's trick, but without a Spock of their own to do the calculations and synthesize the materials, it took them over a year to recreate the results. Star Trek Lower Decks -1's first story is a deep cut into franchise lore, using it to show how indispensable to the Enterprise Spock was. In the first season of Star Trek, the animated series, in the episode titled The Time Trap, the Enterprise was sucked into a mysterious dimension with seemingly no hope of return. After they did return home, the Enterprise crew never spoke of their experience in the Delta Triangle again. Lower Decks, which makes a point to follow up on franchise plot holes, revisits the episode, revealing why Spock is one of the greatest officers ever. While the Bonaventure was also successful in escaping the Delta Triangle, they encountered far more obstacles along the way and had trouble overcoming them because they had no one on Spock's level. Captain Moyo, the Bonaventure's skipper, admits it took her crew several months to reproduce Spock's calculations, and several more months to create the materials necessary to implement Spock's solution. Moyo's final log admits they escaped, but when the Cerritos find the ship, it is abandoned. The crew's fate is still a mystery, but there is a possibility their disappearance may be the result of the botched escape attempt. Regardless of what happened to the Bonaventure's crew, the point remains: not having an officer of Spock's caliber hampered their efforts. Numerous Star Trek episodes and movies have featured Spock using his intellect to find a solution to whatever dilemma the Enterprise is facing this week. For instance, Spock's mind melded with V'Ger in Star Trek. The motion picture gave Kirk the insight needed to defeat the alien. The time trap, referenced in Star Trek Lower Decks -1, is another such example. Spock was crucial to the success of the Enterprise. Another crew learned the hard way. In the vast, unexplored reaches of space, the USS Enterprise, the crown jewel of Starfleet, has faced innumerable dangers, from hostile alien species to treacherous space anomalies. Yet through every trial and tribulation, one fact remains: the Enterprise wouldn't have survived without Mr. Spock. As one of the most iconic characters in science fiction history, Spock's contribution to the survival of the starship and its crew goes far beyond his Vulcan logic and pointy ears. In fact, Star Trek has long implied, and now all but admitted, that Spock's unique blend of intellect, loyalty, and emotion was the glue that held the Enterprise together. Here's why. The perfect balance, logic and emotion. Spock's dual heritage, half human, half Vulcan, makes him an extraordinary character. Raised in a Vulcan society where logic reigns supreme, Spock constantly wrestles with his human side, which is far more emotional. It's this internal conflicts that enables him to offer balanced perspectives during the crew's most trying moments. While Captain Kirk is known for his boldness and instinctual leadership, Spock provides the calm, reasoned analysis that tempers Kirk's impulsiveness. Without Spock, Kirk's daring maneuvers might have led the Enterprise into disaster more than once. Consider the famous Kobayashi Maru test, a no-win scenario designed to test Starfleet officers' decision-making under pressure. While Kirk notoriously cheats the system to win, Spock's approach would have been entirely different. He wouldn't aim for a win, but rather for the best possible outcome given the circumstances. In real-life situations, Spock's influence prevents Kirk from making reckless choices, grounding the captain in reality while still enabling the boldness that makes Kirk a great leader. Spock's calm rationality is often the antidote to Kirk's emotional drive, creating a balance that Starfleet relies on. This dynamic is particularly evident in episodes like the Galileo 7, where Spock must take command in a life-or-death situation. His logical approach initially frustrates his human crewmates, but ultimately it's his reasoned decision-making that saves them all. The science behind survival, one of Spock's most vital contributions to the Enterprise, is his unparalleled scientific expertise. As the ship's science officer, Spock's deep understanding of physics, mathematics, and alien technologies is often the crew's first and best line of defense. Whether the Enterprise is encountering dangerous spatial phenomena like black holes, wormholes, or time distortions, Spock's ability to analyze and propose solutions is essential. In the episode The Tholian Web, for example, the Enterprise becomes trapped in a spatial anomaly that threatens to tear the ship apart. While the crew panics, it is Spock who remains calm, using his vast knowledge of space-time mechanics to calculate a precise escape route. In situations like this, no other crew member possesses the level of scientific insight necessary to navigate such complex challenges. His contributions are literally life-saving. Moreover, Spock's Vulcan physiology often gives him an edge in solving problems. In the episode The Immunity Syndrome, the crew faces a deadly spaceborne organism that drains energy from their ship. While the rest of the crew grows increasingly weak, Spock, with his superior Vulcan stamina, is able to make crucial decisions that lead to the organism's destruction. Time and time again, Spock's unique capabilities, both intellectual and physical, prove essential to the survival of the Enterprise. Diplomatic genius, the universal translator of cultures, in addition to his scientific prowess, Spock is often the Enterprise's best diplomat. His Vulcan heritage gives him an innate ability to understand and communicate with alien species that might otherwise be hostile. Whether dealing with the aggressive Klingons, the secretive Romulans, or entirely new species, Spock's calm demeanor and logical reasoning often prevent conflicts from escalating into violence. In Journey to Babel, Spock's diplomatic skills are put to the test as the Enterprise hosts a conference of alien ambassadors. When tensions rise and an assassination attempt occurs, it is Spock's deep knowledge of interspecies relations that helps uncover the truth and prevent a diplomatic disaster. Even when his own father is at risk, Spock never lets his personal feelings interfere with his duty, proving time and again that he is Starfleet's greatest diplomat. His role as a mediator goes beyond formal negotiations. In countless episodes, Spock acts as a bridge between the human crew and alien perspectives. His unique ability to understand the motivations and behaviors of other species often allows the Enterprise to avoid dangerous confrontations. Without Spock, the Enterprise might have faced more battles and potentially more catastrophic losses. The unspoken emotional core, while Spock's logical nature is his most defining trait, his emotional connection to the crew cannot be overlooked. Over the course of Star Trek, it becomes clear that, despite his Vulcan demeanor, Spock cares deeply for his fellow officers. His loyalty to Kirk and McCoy in particular forms the emotional core of many episodes. This unspoken bond is often what pushes Spock to go above and beyond in protecting the Enterprise. In the search for Spock, the crew's loyalty to their fallen friend propels them on a dangerous mission to recover his body. But what makes this episode so powerful is the revelation that Spock's Katra, his living spirit, remains intact. This spiritual aspect of Spock's character underscores the idea that he is more than just a cold, logical figure. He is the heart of the crew, even in death. Spock's emotional depth becomes most apparent in his ultimate act of